started this not as if Cincinnati was the soccer capital of the USA.
A baseball city, a football city.
But if we did this right, we're going to take over this town.
We had just over 200 days to build this thing.
Everybody had to run at 500 miles per hour.
Why are we not going for this?
It kind of created some tension in the locker room.
It wasn't at all what you think it was.
We weren't even building this plane while it was on the ground.
Even when you see just a snippet, doesn't you get fired up? Like,
Yes.
I'm fired up. FC Cincinnati fans getting to see behind the scenes the story of the team's historic rise into the MLS.
What you just saw was part of a docuseries called Nonstop Flight, The Untold Story of FC Cincinnati, and it is available right now on Apple TV.
And this morning, we are joined by the director of the project, Mark Graham from Fourth Floor Creative. Mark, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You know, I was mentioning right as you walked in during the commercial break that I saw just a similar clip to what we just saw there, I don't know, about a week ago, and I went, wow. And the reason I'm wowed by that, as everybody else, I think, I've been wowed by this organization.
Yeah.
What did you learn from doing this series?
I mean, we had the opportunity to be with the club since 2015. So since the first ever press conference at Nippert Stadium when they were announcing the USL team.
Yeah.
And I mean, just to be honest, I mean, the entire progress is just fascinating from where they began to where they are now. But even for those kind of 4 years from USL, you know, going to MLS, it was a nonstop flight, and the trajectory was just nowhere but the top. So it was pretty fascinating seeing, you know, kind of how they went about things and the process and to how to get an MLS bid or even to get a USL you know, franchise. So it was pretty incredible to see, and also to hear all the backstories about how it came to be.
Do you have any highlights or favorite moments along the way that really stand out to you? Like, wow, I'm so glad we were there for this, or we got to see this.
I mean, I think for everyone, you know, in those beginning years of FC Cincinnati, that Open Cup run was something.
I was at the
special.
Chicago Fire game.
Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. So I think like telling that story, but really digging in a little bit deeper and talking to the coaching staff and the players and wondering, you know, maybe why they were going forward in certain instances for the Open Cup run versus league play, and understanding like maybe why some lineups were used, you know, for the tournament in the Open Cup versus league play. So I thought that was pretty fascinating, but also, you know, kind of the title, Nonstop Flight. You know, we found out from Jeff and from Carl, you know, when we sat down doing interviews with them, that they were kind of building the plane while they were flying it. And so when they told us that kind of struck a creativity side for us of being like, well, wait a second, that's our title. You know, you were kind of building this plane while flying it, and as of right now, this plane's still flying.
Still flying, fast.
When you talk to them, because it doesn't come across, at least in every interview and everything I've ever seen, you know, with Jeff especially, that there's ever been a second's doubt. Like everything seems like it was planned, and it's just been this rocket ship. And when you think about playing in Nippert to now playing in a stadium that is literally world renowned, the amount of time they did that, you can't do that. You're not supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely near impossible. But that's Jeff and Carl for you.
Yeah.
You know, making the impossible possible. And if you look back in 2015, 16, those first years, it wasn't just getting into the USL. The plan had always been to get to the MLS, and Jeff and Carl knew they were going to do everything they can to make that happen.
Now, as we all know, FC Cincinnati has a fan base that is very, very passionate, and they know the ins and outs of this club. I mean, was there any pressure to make sure that you got this exactly right? Because, you know, somebody might say, well, wait a minute, that date was this, or I was there for this.
You know, it was something close and dear to our hearts at Fourth Floor Creative, because we had been with the club since the beginning, to where we knew the story, we lived it, and to be honest, if you asked me, that's what built this club, was the fans. And without the fans, you probably don't have that meteoric rise that you did. You know, you don't take the world by a storm or take the country by a storm and make Cincinnati, you know, the soccer capital of the world for a point in time. So I think that, you know, it wasn't too hard, you know, to really tell that part of the story, because it had such a huge part of that meteoric rise of the club.
No, I know.
I was just going to say quickly too, I think one of the cool things is that Jeff and Carl and everybody involved know that it's in part because of the fans.
The fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
They
supporter
recognize that,
shield,
yeah.
kind of giving it to the people, that was
Yeah.
that was
And-
very much, top of mind for them.
And I think that's something pretty special that I don't think many people
Right.
realize, is that it's called the Supporter Shield, and I think that is a trophy that's dear to this club's heart and to the city's heart, because it actually lives with the supporters.
Right.
So they kind of go to supporter group, everyone gets to hold the trophy, but it's because they built this club into what it is.
Now, you've got several of the episodes available right now with the MLS Pass on Apple TV. Are there more episodes coming yet this season?
FC Cincinnati's story is yet to be done. So we're definitely working on some things, but obviously we know the success that they've had last year in getting that supporter shield and making that playoff run, and there's still more to come. So as me and Jeff and Carl and Tommy G and everyone at Fourth Floor Creative, we always say, this plane's still flying, so the story still needs to be told.
Mark Graham, Fourth Floor Creative, thank you so much. And again, it's out on the Apple TV Plus right now.
Yeah, and I cannot wait to dig
I know,
in
me too.
a little bit. And ready for a new season, too.
Yeah.
Mark, very nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in this
Thank
morning.
you. I appreciate you.
It's
You can always get local stories right here on YouTube, but go ahead and hit that subscribe button to get notifications to stay in the know.